Good evening. I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer. And tonight is your night. It's freestyle night. Um, sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. I got a new Mac computer and I was looking at it. So I'm going to wait a second till we get some of you folks on here. So we started this about, 2 months ago, where we just have a night where you guys get to come on, ask questions, ask things that you want to know. I've got some things I want to talk about. So we'll do that as well. One of the things that I want to tell you about is coming up on the 30th of the month. That's 2 Mondays away. We're going to do a special show where you guys get to write in questions. So here is I'm putting in the comment section. This is how you participate. You go to that address and ask me a question. You can ask anything you want. And then Tim, who works with me, is going to be on here and he's going to be helping me out asking the questions. So you can ask anything. Now, if it's really raunchy, I may not answer, but we're going to try. Yeah, thank you.
English is the main language. Press the return key.
Oh, my computer's talking to me. Well, thank you, Facebook user. My haircut is clean. My new barber gave me I said, I want it tighter on the sides in a little bit. And Vicky, you already participated. Great. I don't know how many of you guys saw this video last night. I posted this on our gas stove, and all I said was, Kathy and I are living on the edge. We had 10,000 people look at that and like 800 responses from just that. That's all it was that little picture. Well, and you know that's response to is our president looking to ban the use of gas, natural gas. Ours is propane, but I'm sure propane will be included in that. I'd love to know what you think of that. I'd also love to know what you think of. Did you comment, Skipper? Good for you. I'd also love to know what you guys are thinking about all this classified information that now our president has. So it is interesting, not to compare, but why not? When Trump did it, they raided his house and found documents, allegedly, apparently. With Biden, they treat it a whole different way. To me, it should be the same. What's the plan for restaurants? What do you mean, Facebook user? What's the plan for restaurants? Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, what are they going to do? What are you going to cook with? He can dish it out, but he can't take it. Well, exactly. But why do we give him a pass? I don't understand, and why we're giving the treatment for one. The FBI and DOJ all get bombard his place and jump in there, and then look at what happens with Biden. It's hardly even anything, although it's going to cause him some stink. But now what they'll probably do is won't prosecute either one of them. I guess we need to have a better plan for all of our presidents. When I was listening to the radio today, and a guy was talking who worked in the Secret Service and had pretty high security clearance that he could look at stuff like that. He said there's been people that have gone to jail for doing less than both Trump and Biden. And yet, because they're presidents, they get a pass. Eugene and other cities are trying to eliminate natural gas in new homes. Tom, I saw that. I think it's the dumbest thing I've ever had. It's clean, energy efficient. What is the strangest thing you ever ate? Dale, the strangest thing that comes to mind right off the bat is bee larvae. I did a story on a bee lab in OSU at Oregon State University, and they had bee larvae where they were going in and using the larvae. So what it is like a baby bee before it's born, and you eat it. And I did. And it was, nothing I have all the time, but it was there. They're also going to ban it in new homes and businesses. Yeah, that's what I've heard too. That's what they're trying to do. And here it is. This is what's so kind of hypocritical about the whole thing is what else are you going to use? Electricity? when they're already saying we're going to have outages and shortages of electricity? And what is our electricity is made from water in the Northwest, where you are anyway. Mine is made from coal, and they don't want, so you don't want coal, and coal is what's mostly used to produce electricity. In the Northwest, you don't want dams, but dams are what are used to make hydroelectric power. And now you don't want natural gas. We want everybody using power. And then you want electric cars, but they run on lithium batteries, and you don't want people to mine. So it's, but what's sad about it is it doesn't matter factually what's true and what's not true to the message makers, because they know people don't look into it, and all they do is they touch their heart and their feely places. And so if it feels good, then it must be good. And we have got to get away from that as a culture and as human beings. I mean, because do a fact check, start looking into this stuff. Don't just buy the latest stuff that somebody's going to tell you on the internet. I wager Obama still has classified documents in his home, and Clintons have some into probably their homes. Probably all the presidents do. And now it's a big deal. But what I do find funny is they made such a huge deal about Trump and big story. And now it's while he's a sitting president, now Biden is caught. And it was just in his garage. At least Trump had it locked in a place. At least that's what we think. But what a shit show. I mean, and the treatment, search Google and you will find out thousands of homes still use oil heating, and natural gas serve millions of homes. Mine's propane. My heating system here is on propane because that used to be more efficient than electricity. Remember when you saved electricity, that was a good thing. Now they want everybody using electricity, but we don't want to use coal or hydroelectric power. We're going to do wind. The only place wind might work is Livingston, Montana. No one is able to afford electric car or vehicle. Another way to cripple our country. In the garage, he was renting to Hunter. Dale, wait, so everything on the internet isn't true? I know, Dale. That's why you watch our show, is we're here to inform you. Hey, have you guys ever heard of David Goggins? I listened to a podcast from him today. It was on modern wisdom. He's only doing 2 this year, and I can see why people are so impressed with this guy. It was I highly recommend you go look it up. It was really, really, really good. I listened to 2 hours of it, and it's a super impressive guy. He just doesn't put up with any crap. And I think, I'm getting there, slowly but surely. I'm kind of realizing I just don't, it's hard. I don't know what, maybe it's the older I get, the more secure I get with just being who I'm supposed to be. And, we all have our story, right? We all have our life, and we have to live it as authentically as we can. And that's not always going to go over well with other people. And I have pissed some people off because I talk about what I believe. And if I see something that's wrong, that I feel is wrong, then I say it. Now, the last, 10 years, I remember for me, it started when I started criticizing the way that Oregon was treating the lawlessness situation, which is not the same as homelessness, but that's what they call it. And oh yeah, that's my owl. He goes outside in the spring and summer, to chase off the birds. Oh, Jason Greenbud, how the hell are you? From communist occupied Eugene. Oh, the home of the nuclear free zone, the cleanest form of energy on the planet, with the least disasters and deaths and problems. And yet Lane County is nuclear free. God, you can feel it when you drive in, can't you? The purity, the cleanliness, the arrogance. Oh my gosh, the older we get, the less we care or want to impress people. Liz, I have to agree with you. How do you feel about Albert's new citizenship? Oh, I'm doing a story. There's a lady coming, Dale, into town to talking about that whole concept. And I'm pretty sure I got her on the show. I'm almost positive. Um, yeah, but I do think that maybe it's age, maybe it's just a realization that you just can't make everybody happy. And yet I don't want to I don't want to go out to piss people off. But, and I know I'm not supposed to compare it to Montana, but it really is different here. People give you a breath. There's a leniency here. Live and let live is still kind of the motto here. And while I know people here worry about too many blue people coming to the state and changing what they have because they see what happens in Oregon and California and Washington State, and they don't want that here. Tom. So Tom says OSU is sending staff around the world to help install nuclear plants, and they're in Idaho has a huge nuclear, and I don't know what it's not. I don't know if it's a plant, but it's a big area out there by, what's the town called? Arrow? Oh, I don't remember. I just drove through it, but it's huge out there. I mean, that is the energy source of the future, and all because Chernobyl, and because it's a nuclear reactor. But really, that's the only major accident, and I don't know how many people. I can't remember how many people I killed, but there's been way more deaths from other types of energy that's out there. What I don't get is what's the goal? What's the goal? Are we looking for the cleanest energy source? Are we looking for to reduce coal? Do we not want to put dams up anymore? So if we need energy, that's pretty obvious, don't you think? I mean, human beings have to operate off of energy. Well, all animals do, but we have to have energy for heat, for moving our cars, for, all the, my phone, my computer, everything we do has energy needs. And so then so I can understand if somebody says, okay, so let's don't do hydro anymore. We don't want to block our dams anymore. Okay. So where do we get we can't just stop. So where do we get that energy from? Well, we could build nuclear plants and then cut back on the hydro and kind of phase out of that. That's an idea, but no, we don't want nuclear either. Okay, then we could use coal. No, we don't want coal. Okay, so we can't use coal, can't use hydro, can't use nuclear. Now you want to take away natural gas. Oh, okay, so natural gas. So then that puts the power source back to electricity, but we don't want those hydro dams. Oh, so now what do we do? This. So then what if we had a mixture of coal in it? No, we don't want that either. What this sounds like to me is a little child who doesn't want his toy. I don't want that toy and I don't want that. Well, what do you want? I don't know what I want, but I just want to have energy. Well, and maybe that's what most of us need to work on as human beings is that we have to force people to come up with an object. Give me some answers here. You can't just say no to everything. Energy dominance. My grandson is moving to Montana end of February with my great granddads. Check you're the 1%. You control all the energy. Think about it. Jason, I want a nuclear powered car. I'm tired of gas prices. There's a book from Nicholas Tesla that clearly shows everyone. But we get that from dams that are efficient and control the salmon runs and stuff like that. Without oil production, we would not have vinyl windows. That's the thing I think that the general public doesn't understand either. The oil, one of the least uses is for gas for our cars. I mean, it's in everything. Everything. And okay, I know. Yeah, Skipper, we could do wind power, which so far proves to be bullshit. It doesn't work. There's not enough. And solar power in Oregon, in Western Oregon, we're going to rely on solar power. Well, it hasn't worked so far. I mean, it works. I mean, both those power sources are workable, but they're not to the tune of what we need. Not even close to what we need. And it's not coming. I mean, think about, so you guys live there in Oregon. I've been watching the weather. I mean, you've had clouds, you had sunshine yesterday, but all the rest of the time it's cloudy. There's no solar power with clouds. Now, you did have a couple windstorms, but that's not going to keep it either. Wind turbines don't work. I live in New Mexico. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not enough. I mean, it works, but it's not enough. Dale Leslie, who? Can we power a car on diversity and inclusiveness? Jason, if we could power a car on bullshit, we would never run out of energy. Political bullshit can run. There's enough methane in that. Who's worried? Well, have you guys heard the other thing is now the environmental community is worried about cattle farts. How much methane cattle farts are putting in the air? Cattle farts. So now we shouldn't be eating food anymore either. Because maybe an egg, we can't afford eggs because all the poultry, the chicken eggs. Have you guys seen the price of that? We have miles and miles of solar panel fields. Yeah, I mean, and you have sunshine. They're pushing fear to control. I totally agree. It's like they don't really want people anymore. So, but here's the thing on that. So they think we should reduce the population to 1 billion. Well, there's like 8 billion people on the earth. So, all right. 7 billion people, we need you to volunteer to die. I don't see any of them in the front of the line. Do you? No, I don't either. Jason Greenbud, just get a Tesla. They're powered from nukes, coal, natural gas, hydro, everything. Speaking of gas prices, what is gas per gallon where you are? It just went up. It's I paid $2.98, but that's because I belong to a little gas card membership. I have a gas membership. And so I save 5 cents a gallon. So I think it's right, like 304, but it just went up. It was down around 270 something. Oil lubricates nearly everything that moves, except for politics. No landfills take solar panels. Rick, look up New Mexico and the wind turbines in New Mexico and how much money they spend. It's crazy. I will. I'd say my father-in-law has power and often generates enough to add back into the grid in the spring and summertime. That's good. I drive by fields of thousands of them. Horse and buggy. There you go. No, because horses have methane when they poop. Oh my. Crazy. One powered by anger, divisiveness, bitterness, and social justice warrior power would have limitless range. Jody, that's funny. You're funny. We have dairy farms here in New Mexico, I've heard. Turbines in Missouri. Eggs are $15 to $22 for 5 dozens. Wow. As an energy consultant, we install solar water heaters in 1995. In 2005, you can find anyone to work on your solar water heater. You know what I have, Tom, since you're that expert in this? I have that on demand. I love it. I mean, it works really, really well. Stuff is the coal is to stop and whatever. It's ridiculous. Why can't people just do the research? Because people are lazy. And we knew that in the news business. You can tell people anything and they'll believe it if it feels good. And here's the sad thing is the statisticians and the experts know that. So they know, I mean, honestly, political operatives know you and me better than we know ourselves. They know what we think. They know what we want to feel. They know how to, so they message according to that. That's why Oregon always has all these weird, funky, stupid ballot measures like 114, because we're a small enough state that they don't have to spend a ton of money, George Soros, but they're, and they know that there's a liberal bend, so to speak. And so they keep putting ballot measures out to see what will finally pass. And so it was 114. They finally got that because there was other bills ahead of that and they didn't pass. And that one comes in and it passes. So now they know the language. Then they take that to other states like Colorado, New Mexico, and they start trying it there and see what they can get. But Oregon is usually one of the first states where that where they trial it, which says something big about Oregon. Cats and dogs have methane too. Maybe we should kill them. Well, you can't do that because oh God, I could get into a really heated. I find it curious and interesting how much time is spent by how do I word this? Let's see. Okay, this is a little controversial, but we seem to be more concerned with making sure that cats and pets are neutered, and that people aren't just having children, baby cats and all kinds of stuff all over that. It's like that gets more attention than human beings. It's like, oh my gosh. I remember when we had a cat and it had kittens, and I said something to people at work and they were like, oh my gosh, why don't you get it fixed? It's like, well, we just got the cat. We didn't realize getting it. Well, that's terrible. And it was like I was Hitler or something. Go back to Little House on the Prairie days. That's probably what, no, they wouldn't do that because those people were not inclusive and they were racist. And they stole the Indians' land, and animal abuse gets more attention than child abuse. Thank you, Vicki. That's what I was trying to get the words out, and that's really true of our culture. Look at you. Seriously, look at some animals are thought of better than kids. It's true. But here's the deal. Okay, so let's end this a little bit on a positive note here. I think things are changing. I think my mom used to say, because back in the day you had a wringer that you'd wring your clothes out, and the bad thing would happen was a woman would get her tit caught in the wringer. And as my mom used to say, I think they're getting their tit caught in the wringer. It's starting to turn around. I think it's like, at this point, it's so obvious. Come on. We have a DOJ and an FBI over investigating the former president of the United States for having classified documents that I assume from what I've read, they knew they were there. And he knew they were there. Now their current president finds them. They're in his garage, so not even in a secure place. And he's the one who's making a big stink on national television on 60 Minutes. This is horrible that the former president had these documents. Well, he has them too. So right there, what kind of credibility does he have? Same thing with COVID and all that. There's so many studies coming out now, so much information that we overreacted in the worst way. And the damage that's being caused by that overreaction may turn out to be equally as bad as the number of people who died from it. And how many people really did die from it? Or did they die with it? And that's starting to come out. And all those doctors who were saying we need to be asking more questions, who were canceled, are now starting to be listened to. Even the national newspapers are starting to ask questions about the numbers and things that are going on. But will somebody ever come and say, man, I'm sorry that I accused you of killing people, Rick Dancer, because I overreacted. I let fear get the best of me. Maybe you're not such a fuckhead as I thought you were. No, they won't, because we live in an arrogant society, and they can never admit that they overreacted. And those of us who were saying, hey, isn't this a little bit much to lock down the world? Just look at the human trafficking. Oh yeah, we don't talk about that either, because then we'd have to talk about the open borders that Mr. Biden has down there, and the fact that people can just walk over, and they're getting asylum for nothing. Like the Amish. What's the Amish? Oh, we're going to live like the Amish. I have an Amish community here, and I'll tell you what, here in Montana, and sometimes I said to my wife the other day, I'd like to go try that for a day. Um, oh, here's the Paulson Livestock and Feed. They got some. They got some knowledge of this whole thing. If you question, you get canceled. It's so true. And but here's the thing: that is what they want, but that's not how we're going to respond. We are going to continue to question and question and question until this turns around. Because I'm not going to, I mean, yeah, my life would be a hell of a lot easier if I didn't do this. I wouldn't lose clients. I wouldn't lose people. It, it's scary to stand up for what you believe in, but once you do it for a while, and I think the Paulsons can understand this and are right in the thick of this. When you first started, it's really ugly, and people are so nasty because it's kind of like junior high school or middle school as we call it today. If you get out of line, there are the bullies, and they work to keep you in line because if you think something differently than they do, then you have to be wrong. And then why would you do that anyway? And then it's these intellectual questions they ask that it's obvious that they pay attention to no other media but the ones that make them feel good about what they believe. And none of us should be doing that either. I think it's time everybody start working together. And I'm seeing more and more. But I live in Montana, but I can't tell the Democrats from the Republicans. It's like it used to be in Oregon here. People just live and let live. They let you be. Maybe a third of the so-called COVID deaths might have been COVID deaths. The hospitals made money and the government gained massive power. And now, Mike, look at the situation that the hospitals are in. They can't get enough workers. People are overworked. They're quitting. Nurses left. Doctors left. Got out of the business. Kind of brought it on yourself, didn't you? Yeah, you canceled all these people, and now they've moved on to other things because they realized what horseshit it was. And now you're stuck because you can't get people. Hospitals are in dire straits. Man, we definitely need some immigration reform. So different to become a citizen. And gosh, there were so many opportunities over the last decade to really streamline the process. Yeah, we could fix it, but nobody wants to fix it. Well, not nobody. They don't want to fix it. Let's hope it stays that way in Montana with all the folks moving here. Stacy, yeah, I understand that 100% because you see it seeping in. I mean, you see it starting to. They're right now. They're redrawing their district lines from the congressional seats and stuff, and I'm seeing talk about the D's are gerrymandering like they used to in Oregon, like they did for years, and got it changed. So it's really something you have to pay attention to and watch because it comes in and it all looks so innocent, and then when it grabs a foothold, it's too late. And that's what happened in Oregon. But I think the good news is Stacy and Lee, is that it? We moved from Springfield in 2020. I think the good thing is people like us are moving here who are still open-minded, still care about, and hopefully we're into integration. Actually not integration. I would say I came here to assimilate. What they created here, I love. I want to be a part of it. I don't want to change it. Are there things that could work differently? You bet. But you know what? Sometimes when you change things, that's when you start opening doors to the bullshit. And so you hunker down, you love your neighbor, and I'll tell you what, people here are so kind and will take care of you and have a conversation with you and and they don't. I had a lady. I told this story the other day, but I hope people will. I want to move out of Texas. I'm from Oregon originally, but it cost too much, and I left Oregon in '99. It's more visible in larger cities like Missoula, exactly, and Bozeman, Los Angeles. Most of the Bitterroots are live and live and let live. Anytime you get into Bozeman, Missoula, Helena. You can sense that because it's state capital, but there's something there. But still, I think people. I was on the machine next to a lady at my gym in Helena the other day, and she kind of starts flipping me some shit. So I flipped it back to her and she goes, I knew you could handle that. And I go, why? She goes, I could just tell you were like that. And then she says, what brought you here from Oregon? And of course, being from Oregon, I still have this shell shock and PTSD going, I'm hedging because I don't want to say exactly. And then finally I said, well, bottom line is, it was the reaction to the pandemic. And we saw what Oregon really was all about. And we just don't want to stay and be a part of that. And this lady goes, oh, well, I'm a nurse. And those masks were bullshit. They don't work. We all know it. And then I wouldn't get the vax if you paid me to get the vax. And then she says, and I'm a Democrat. And I went, oh my God, I love this woman. So it really is. I think it really is. It's changing. It's going to change. I think it's going to change. I hope. I think. I don't know. I don't know. I think people are waking up, and it's not that. It's not that I think that the Democrats are horrible people. It's not the Democrats to me. It's the ultra woke, progressive, narrow-minded people who are pushing their agenda and don't care about what any of the rest of us even think. I never consider myself a conservative, but I feel like I'm, compared to what's going on right now, I am. But I'm a guy who likes everybody to have a piece of the action and be part of the conversation. And it used to be a little more like that. But now this far, far left progressive wing of the Democratic Party is out of touch with what people are doing. And they're pushing too hard. And I think now, because of all this, what I have to accept, I don't have to accept anything. I have my choices. I will always be kind and I'm going to be accepting of people's differences. I don't care what you choose to do. That's your business. But don't tell me I have to accept it. If you're doing something I completely disagree with, I don't have to do anything. And you can't make me, you can't legislate my behavior unless your name is, and then if you do, and you try to, then I will call you Mr. Hitler because that's who you've become. Now, all of a sudden, it's your way or no way. And I'm sorry, but I'm never going to do that, ever. I'm going to be for people living their lives. I have friends in all kinds of different groups and communities, and I think I respect all of them. Do I agree with all of them? Hell no. My wife and I don't even agree on stuff. But you know what? I am not going to be pushed and pressured into pronouns and bullshit, especially the personal pronoun thing. Oh, for God's sake. I'm sorry. I'm not going to call you a they, because a they is two things. It's not one. It's grammatically incorrect. It doesn't work. You can be an it. You can't be a they. And nobody wants to be an it because that sounds horrible. I wouldn't want to be an it. But God, come on. This is just absolutely, so call yourself what you want, but the rest of us, it's like, it's unbelievable to me. If you're, and me personally, I don't care if you're a dude and you feel like you're a woman, you want to dress like a woman, I am totally supportive of that. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to adopt all the ways that you think of yourself or the different things. I'm not probably going to do that. But I'm going to totally invite you to my house and hang out and do whatever else. That's, it's not that big a deal. But this making people be who you want them to be or call you, and it's just over the top. I'm just not going to do it. So that's just how it is. But I'll still love and care for you, and you still have every single right that I have, and to speak and do anything you want to do. But don't tell me how I have to think. Our education system is now about indoctrination, and I think that's scary. And I'm hoping more people run for the school boards to get that out of there. It's schools are to educate, not to indoctrinate, and that's just crazy. I don't have to do anything. I don't either, Andrew. I agree. You're either born with the innie or an outie. And you can call yourself an outie even if you have an innie, or an innie if you have an outie. But it doesn't mean that we're all going to see it the same way. We don't have to play along with they's delusion. It really is crazy, Andrew. Yeah, for me, it's just I start looking at it like going, when is it that I don't make you, to turn the tables. Because I believe what I believe, I don't make you say things to make me feel better. You know what I mean? I'd love to take all these people who come on and just rank me and say nasty shit and go, okay, so now let me turn that on you. And now I'm intolerant because I don't put up with your things that you have that are different about you. So I think, honestly, I think part of the thing is what we should start doing is just doing what we do. You can tell me what you want. You can say what you want me to do. I have people, I remember in the disabilities community when people used to call them the R word. And, so I'm polite. If somebody says, oh, that person's so, blah, blah, blah. I'll just say, hey, I have a brother-in-law and I have friends that are in that community. That's kind of an offensive thing. So I'm just letting you know. I don't tell them they have to stop. I just let them know. And nobody continues on. I mean, it's doing it with grace. It's when you point out things to people, that's how this makes me feel. But if you tell me, because I always find it funny that the people that call me a racist the most are white people. None of my black friends call me that, or my Latino friends, or my brown friends, or my red friends. They don't say that. But and I've never had someone just in those communities say that. It's always white people who think they're the knowledgeable ones about racism. But it's like, well, you're racist against me because you're saying things because I'm white, and that's a race. White is also. So we're pretty even here, except at least I'm being accepting. So anyway, well, good discussion tonight. Good conversation. There's a lot of material there that can get us all in a lot of trouble socially. But then again, if we don't keep talking about it, it's not going to change. So again, you guys, if you have a question, up at the top on the comment section is a link. You can go and you can ask me any question you want. And we're going to do that on the 30th. We'll be answering that. If you guys would do me a favor, share this on your page. I want to thank our sponsors, Cristiano Family Dentistry, where everyone's welcome. And Michael is like one of the most outspoken people I know. And he's given me a lot of bravery and support financially with being one of our sponsors as well. And also New Leaf Hyperbarics and Wellness Center. I have an ad going out for Matt just on the internet. Pay attention. It's about us. Seasonal affective disorder. And Matt has a light therapy that can really help people if you're dealing with that and struggling with it. It's a very hard time to live in the Pacific Northwest right now, this kind of, the season. And Matt's got some stuff he thinks can probably help you. So if you guys love on our sponsors, that helps us because that keeps them with us and that keeps us on the air. That's just how it works. So anyway, all right. So I will tomorrow night. Jameson Bauman is coming on. He's a young man in Coburg, and he's just super smart. I met him years ago. He's got great ideas, and he's going to really challenge people a little bit. And then on Thursday, I think my wife's coming on, and somebody had asked and said, you guys always find the best Airbnbs, and we have an Airbnb in our home here. And so they said, can Kathy come share how she finds them? So she'll come on and kind of tell some of her secrets. Bill London will be here with the news that night, and we might have weather as well. And so anyway, that's what we got planned for this week, and much more coming up. So take this, share it on your page, speak out, but do it in kindness, but don't put up with it anymore. I know you live in Oregon, some of you, and I love that state. I hate the state that you're in. I love the state that you're in. Get it? Oh, now the haters will come on and go, you always are talking bad about Oregon. It's like, oh, shut the fuck up.